Everyone, and welcome to Skyrise Academy. Today we are here with yet another important topic from the current affairs point of view for the UPSC aspirants. The topic is very hot and burning with its caption as World Population Trends. In a recent study by the team of University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, they have analyzed the trend of population in 195 countries, and shocking data has been revealed, and even more shocking projections have been made in this study. So the topic is covered under the GS paper 1 under the topic of population and associated issues, including the poverty and developmental issues, urbanization, their problems and their remedies. If you look at the chart provided on your screen, then you can see on the left hand side there are top 10 countries by population. Obviously the first place is occupied by the China, and second comes the India. So on the 10th place is occupied by the Japan. So that is the data from 2017, and there is paradigm shift, and the projections are made for the year of 2100. That is almost 83 years long projections made on the base of data of 2017 and the current population trends in the world. So India will become the most populated country, but with the declined population of 1.09 billion in comparison to 1.38 billion right now. And the China will shift to the third place with the drastic fall in population from 1.4 billion to 732 million. That is almost half of the population the China will retain with the end of this century. When we analyze the figures on the chart, and on the right hand side we see India TFR, that is total fertility rate for the 50 years period, 60 years period from 1950 to 2010. And if we analyze the figures, then we will come to know that the total fertility rate is projected to continue to fall in India, and it has already fallen steeply from 1950 to 2000, and further the trend is followed up to the end of the 21st century. Moving on, let's find out what the study has come up with. The study the research made by the team of University of Washington has studied the population trend in almost 195 countries, that is covering almost whole of the countries on the planet. They also studied the functions of fertility, migration and mortality rates. So let's understand what is total fertility rate. So total fertility rate is a mechanism which shows that on an average women must have to produce the number of children to replenish the existing population. Currently, the TFR of 2.1 is a standard rate at which the women must produce the children to replenish the existing population. Why it is 2.1? Because taking into account some early age death, some due to some diseases or due to accidents or something else, the people expiring before their maturity of age, that's why it is a 2.1. Otherwise 2 should be the standard rate for replenishment of the population. So that is TFR, total fertility rate. Now let's understand what the study has found in its research. So findings of the research about the world is, it is projected that the world is going to peak its population by 2066, and the total population will stand around 9.73 billion people. and with the end of this century in 2100, the population will fall up to 8.7 billion people in the year of 2100. However, UNDP forecasts about 10.8 billion people by then. So there is a contradiction of projections made by the different agencies. The global TFR is predicted to steadily decline from 2.37 in 2017 to 1.66 in 2100. So if you look at the rate, it is going to be very effective. Falling below 2 means the declining trend in the population, and it is projected to be 1.66. That is obviously the world population is going to shrink. The TFR is projected to fall below 2.1 in 183 countries. So looking at the trend, it seems that most of the world countries, most of the countries on the planet are going to see a declining trend in TFR. In 23 countries, including Japan, Thailand, Italy, and Spain, it is projected to shrink by more than 50%. That means they are going to have half of the population after their peak. What are the findings about India in this study, in the research? It is as follows. At the current rate of growth, India's population is likely to peak by 2047. That seems to be early than the world peak. That is going to be happen in 2066. And the at the peak of India's population, it will stand at 1.61 billion people. If you look at it is going to add another 0.3 billion people in the current population of India. And it is expected to decline to 1.03 billion people by the end of this century in the year of 2100. So still at the end of the century, India seems to be the most populated country, and it will still have the billion number mark in its population. However, if India achieves UN Sustainable Goal Development targets, the peak would be earlier and see a population decline to 29 million people at the end of the century. India's TFR was already below 2.1 in 2019. That means the peak is going to be very soon. The TFR is projected to have a continuous steep decline until about 2040, reaching to 1.29 in 2100. That means almost declining to its 60% of the standard TFR. Number of working age adults, that is between the age of 20 to 64 years in India, is projected to fall from around 748 million in 2017 to around 578 million in 2100. However, this will be the largest working age population in the world by 2100. It is still being the largest working population in 2017 itself. So the India is going to be the most potential country throughout this century. The century belongs to India for its the highest number of working population. From 2017 to 2100, India projected to rise up the list of countries with the largest GDP from 7th to 3rd. That is obvious if you look at the number of working age people. So that means the India carries that much of potential and the energy to and those number of intellect mind to push up its position in the list of GDP. India is projected to have the second largest net immigration in 2100. If you look at the word immigration, why I have stressed upon, because right now India has the net emigration, not immigration. So by 2100, the more people will be willing to settle in India, or will come for the jobs or other livelihoods in India. India will, however, remain the most populous country, the five largest countries in 2100 to be India, Nigeria, China, the US, and Pakistan. So the China will slip to the third most populous country, and India replace that. And the Nigeria will enter into the club of five most populated countries. Among the 10 countries with the largest population in 2017 or 2100, India is projected to have one of the lowest life expectancies, that is 79 years in 2100. But that is still up from 69 years currently. What are the main reasons for contraction of world population by the end of this century? The first and foremost reason will be higher access to contraception and education by all women globally. The most foremost reason for the highest population, and if you look at the trend in the African countries, the Nigeria is making to the list of five most populous countries till the end of this century, is the lack of access to the contraceptions and education to the women in these countries. The second reason is sharper reduction in total fertility rate. We have already seen in the beginning of this slide the chart which shows the continued decline in fertility rate among the people. If we look at the data from the 19th century to from the 20th century to 21st century, there is almost a decline of half the percentage of the rate of the total fertility. What are going to be challenges with the shrinking workforce, with the shrinking of world population? There will be huge challenge to economic growth for a shrinking workforce. Obviously, the countries will be aging by the end of this 21st century. So there will be less number of people who are able to work, that will fall in the age group of 20 to 64 years. So there will be huge burden on the workforce to provide for all the necessities for all the medical, health and social support to the aging population. That is going to be the biggest challenge. What is the way forward to tackle with this problem? The countries need to address potential catastrophic impact of a shrinking working age population. The impact can be reduced by providing incentive to increase TFR and using artificial intelligence as a path towards self-sufficiency. See, producing of that much population is going to be difficult. It is very, very challenging, and it is not even the recommended. But we have to sustain the working force for the for the growth of the world economy and the economy of the separate countries, to provide the livelihood and the other betterment services for the entire population. So the technology can play a wider role in this. For example, if you look at the wealthy countries, they will have minimum effect of the shrinking of working age group, because they can attract the population, the working force from the other countries, like right now they are doing the US or the United Kingdom or the other wealthy countries will attract the working force from the poor countries in the hope of a better lifestyle, better livelihood avenues. Other countries will have to work for the technological advancement to counter their human shortage needs. For example, Japan has managed the needs of its growing population with virtually no emphasis on migration. They are more and more relying on the technology rather than the importing of working force from other countries. So this is the important topic and the most burning issue of the population on the planet and its impact. So I hope you have made the most of it, and please subscribe to our channel if you have not, for the more videos and for more important lectures and topics for your UPSC preparation and current affairs. Also do check out the other courses offered by Skyrise Academy on its website, that is www.skyriseacademy.in. Do also mention your feedback in the comment section to make us it more worth, more prosperous for you. Thank you so much.